okay with.
Okay, well, let's make this well worth your while. So
Absolutely.
today I'm going to be talking about how I'm helping my clients, and specifically I'm working with a client right now
Mhm.
to help him write a category designing book with AI, and I'll explain what category design is in a minute. My
Sure.
client is very similar to Softtech, but they're a lot smaller than Softtech. So my client is a I would say they're a boutique outsourced software development company out of Mexico,
Okay.
and um, they specialize in the retail sector, so helping retail chains to optimize their operations, specifically looking at their inventory management. And what he wanted to do was he wanted to, make a splash in the US market by publishing a book and then leveraging the book as a way to, establish authority, generate leads, get to be a speaker at conferences, get invited to podcasts, etc. And so
Okay.
we're using this AI book writing process with him, and also okay, here we go. Here's somebody else. Welcome, Irma. You haven't missed anything. We are actually just getting started over here. And so that's what we're doing. And so let me get right into the thick of this. And so the material that I am going to be showing you today, and I'm going to be showing you very practical examples. I'm not going to be using a lot of PowerPoint. We're going to get right into actually using ChatGPT, using Claude.ai. But what I'm talking about over here is something that I talk about in my upcoming book,
Okay.
Startup. And I hope that that both of you, that those of you on the call, will help me make this book a bestseller. So it's a good thing that you're subscribed to my emailing list, so that I will, as soon as I tell you when the book is going to be up for sale, and it's going to be up for sale for $0 for the first 5 days after I launch it. Should be about the end of February, beginning of March. I'll let you know, and so that you can grab your copy of the book. I'm selling it on Kindle first, and then I'll have a physical copy about a month after that. So, and the book that I'm helping my client write right now is a book that we're calling Revolutionizing Retail Inventory Management with AI. So essentially, what my client does is they provide software consulting, custom software development, in which they help retail chains, think about Walmart, think about Target, think about Zara, maybe smaller companies though that haven't implemented artificial intelligence into their inventory management systems yet. His company helps them do that. And what we're doing is we're actually writing a book about this with the aim of designing a new industry category, which I'll explain in a minute. And then with the aim of, again, establishing him as a thought leader in the US market, and use his book as a method of generating leads in the US market, getting on podcasts, getting invited to speak at conferences, give keynote addresses, etc. There's a lot of things that you can do with a book. But let's get right into the process of the AI book writing process. Okay, so here's the steps to writing your book. I'm gonna get off the slides in a minute and show you exactly what we're doing. But first of all, when I'm working with my clients, and what I'm doing right now with Eduardo Ortiz, is, first of all, we had to come up with the concept. What is your book going to be about, right? And the book is going to be about solving a non-obvious problem with a unique solution. Okay. And that is really the core concept behind category design, right? If we want to invent or create or design a new industry category, then what we have to do is we have to identify a non-obvious problem, and come up with a solution. Then after that, we outline the book, and I'll show you how we can do that with AI. And then what we'll do is we're going to speak the book into existence, right? So, I'll show you what I did with my client. I recorded all the chapters. I essentially interviewed my client, and then we transcribed the recording, and then we used ChatGPT as well as Claude to turn the raw transcript of his book into a well-organized text for a book. Okay, so the concept of the non-obvious problem with the solution, right? So let me actually get right into the demonstration of this. And before this call, what I was doing was I was actually trying out this. And then what I want to do is maybe use Irma and and Sidaki, let me see, Afzal. I want to use examples from you, and maybe we could do this live. But what I did was I asked ChatGPT to help me identify those non-obvious problems that we can use for our target market. So when you think about writing a book, a nonfiction book, okay, I'm talking about nonfiction. This is a business book that we're helping my client write. We're not writing a fantasy novel or a science fiction novel or anything that we're writing a nonfiction book. We're trying to solve a problem, right? We're trying to solve a problem in the marketplace. We're trying to show our target market what we're capable of doing for them, right? So a book is kind of like a sample of what we do, right? So you think about you go to the food court in any mall, or you go to an outdoor food market, and people are always offering you a little taste of whatever they're offering. In fact, I'm remembering I was recently in a town called oh my God, I forgot the name of the town. It's in Michoacan, Mexico. Quiroga. It's a town called Quiroga, Michoacan. Quiroga is famous for carnitas, right? So carnitas are this sort of like deep fried pork, and it's just delicious, and they make the most delicious tacos for it. And the town of Quiroga is famous for these carnitas, right? And so you go to Quiroga, you go to the center of town, and all the people who are making these carnitas, they're offering you free samples. And not only are they offering you free samples of the carnitas, they're actually offering whole tacos, whole free tacos, right? For you to try. And then you can basically have your whole lunch and be full by eating these free tacos and not have to buy anything. But you feel guilty about it, and you end up buying, maybe 2 or 3 kilos of the carnitas and taking it home to your family anyway, right? That's the purpose of a book, right? What you're doing is you're really introducing concepts based on your experience and based on what you as a as a service provider, maybe you do custom software development, or maybe you actually have a SaaS product, or maybe whatever service or product you have. It could be a food product or whatever. But the book is really that sort of like that first step to getting the market to understand what you do. But also, in this case with my client, we're also trying to design a new category, right? So I think about a new category. The best example I can use is to use Uber as an example, right? Uber is, when they got their start about 10, 15 years ago, I don't know, I think it was about maybe about 15 years ago, there was no such thing as a category called ride sharing, right? Well, they invented ride sharing, right? So all of a sudden there's this new thing that nobody ever heard of before. Uber invented it, and then they had all these other people come like Lyft, and then we have, now Didi from China, and all these other, copycats wanting to come in and provide, maybe cheaper, maybe this, maybe that. But Uber was the original designer of the category. And they identified a problem that ride sharing solved. What was the problem they identified? Unreliable taxi service. Maybe taxis are dirty. Maybe the drivers are in a bad mood that day, or they're smelly, and you don't know when you're going to get a taxi coming. And like if you're in New York City and it's raining, and you're standing in the rain, you're trying to hail a taxi, and the taxi doesn't stop for you, right? So it's like all of a sudden when Uber invented ride sharing, we realized, oh my God, yeah, taxis are a problem, right? So Uber solved the problem. They invented a brand new industry category called ride sharing. there's examples of many companies that have done this. You know, Gainsight, which is a software for customer success managers. It's a platform for this new category of employees out there in the software as a service world called customer success, right? Customer success is a different category than customer service, right? Customer service solves technical problems or solves problems with your product. Customer success is there to help make sure that a customer who buys your software as a service is successful, and they help you to train on the product, et cetera. That was a new category. Gainsight is a software company that essentially designed this new category called the Customer Success Manager, and they wrote a book about it, right? So they wrote a book called Customer Success. If you go to Amazon, you can see the book right there, Customer Success. The authors are the three co-founders of Gainsight. HubSpot, another software company that invented the category of inbound marketing. You know, Dharmesh Shah and Brian Halligan are the two co-authors of the book Inbound Marketing, and they're also the co-founders of HubSpot, right? So there's several examples there of people who write books to not only give people a taste of what they can do for them, but it's a way of inventing a category. And so the first step of inventing this category is to identify the concept of the non-obvious problem and the solution. So what I did here last night, just to give you a little bit of background, last night I was giving a talk at a place called the Capital Factory here in Austin, right? The Capital Factory is an incubator and an accelerator for startups, okay? And my talk was about this, exactly what we're talking about here on the webinar. That's what I gave my talk about. And I noticed that there was a lot of technical founders in the audience. So there was one guy from Japan who invented a new type of printed circuit board using copper printed on a little tiny piece of plastic. He brought it in. It was really fascinating. Then there was another guy who invented a new type of recruiting software that's essentially, if you're looking for a new job, this software is an AI that interviews you through video. So it's a video camera, uses computer vision to interview an initial candidate, and the computer vision can see your facial expressions and see how sincere you are, or if you're not lying. It's a little bit scary, but anyway, the founder was there. He was the technical founder, and then there was another guy who had some other software. So anyway, so what I identified is here's these technical founders, and they want to sell their technology. They're not marketers. They're technology people. Right? So how can a technology person introduce a product if they don't have a marketing partner yet, if they don't have somebody who's marketing? Then maybe they want to write a book. So I said, chat, I'm writing a book with the purpose of designing a new industry category in the nonfiction book space. I am designing a new category because I have a hypothesis. This is my hypothesis, that technical founders of technology startups would like to establish themselves as thought leaders. And my idea is that a book will set them up as thought leaders. Okay, that's great. This is my solution, but you can't have a solution without a problem, right? It's a psychological thing. If you introduce a solution, people say, oh, okay, that's great. But if you introduce a solution that solves a problem, people say, oh yes, I have that problem. Oh my gosh, thank God. So it's like if you have aspirin and you say aspirin makes you feel good, aspirin makes you feel good. People say, whatever, I don't need aspirin. But if you say, hey, you have a headache. Do you have a headache? Yes, I do. Well, take my aspirin. It'll solve your headache. Oh, that's fantastic. I've been looking for a way to solve my headache. So that's why identifying problems is so important when you're trying to design a new category and you're trying to introduce your service or product into the market. You really have to identify those problems. And so I said, okay, however, I believe there are problems or barriers keeping technical founders from writing a book. Please help me identify 10 to 20 problems related to technical founders writing nonfiction books that will establish them as thought leaders. Okay, so then ChatGPT gave me, creating a new industry category focused on enabling technology founders of technology startups to establish themselves as thought leaders through authoring nonfiction books is a promising venture. However, several barriers could hinder that path to becoming a published author. Okay, lack of time, technical founders are almost confused, often consumed by the demands of running their startups, blah, blah, blah. Uncertainty as to where to start. I already thought this might be a problem, but I'm glad that ChatGPT, was able to explore its vast database of content that it has consumed over the years to tell me this. You know, and despite the fact that ChatGPT has often been found to, you know, to create these fantasy responses, or, you know, come up with things that have nothing to do with reality, when it comes to this kind of stuff, ChatGPT is right on the money. I've spoken to several people who use ChatGPT on a regular basis, and they said that ChatGPT is great at identifying customer problems. Okay, uncertainty as to where to start. Many technical founders may have expertise and ideas, but lack knowledge on how to begin the process of writing a book. Perceived lack of writing skills, right? Finding a unique angle. So here's a list of problems that ChatGPT gave me, and I could actually focus on each one of these. Now, if you're using ChatGPT to identify your non-obvious problem and solution, first of all, you yourself should have some idea as to what it is already. You should have a hypothesis. ChatGPT can give you a whole bunch of options, but you got to go out there in the market and verify which one of these is true. So you can't rely 100% on ChatGPT or Claude.ai, which I'll show you in a minute. For the, you know, these are good starting points, right? So I think that ChatGPT and AI are great for brainstorming and for helping you to not start from scratch, right? And then, so this is something that this one right here, perceived lack of writing skills. To me, that's a problem that I think is a real problem with a technical founder, right? A technical founder is used to, you know, writing code, right? You know, designing if-then statements and trying to figure out how to branch from here to there and the other, right? They've never sat down and written a manuscript of 60,000 words for a book. So this to me looks like as though it could be a thing for them. Also, I think, and this is something that I don't see here, again, this is where your human perception has to come in. You have to really think about whether they even know how to do any marketing, right? Do they even know that a book could be a solution for them, right? I think technical founders had never even contemplated the fact that a book could be a solution to them. You know, we have several examples, like I told you earlier, of software companies writing books, but how many other software founders have thought about writing a book as a way of introducing their technology to the marketplace and designing a new category? So this is my example. Irma or Afsal, would any of you like to try maybe to come up with an example of solving a problem for your target market that we could use as the basis for your book?
Yeah, hello.
Hi.
Hi. First of all, thanks a lot for this webinar. We're only three here.
Yeah, it's a very intimate webinar. Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, that's amazing. Thank you. And nice to meet you, by the way.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have an idea because I'm based in Mexico, and my idea for a book, every time you said you need to identify a problem and then came up with a solution. Maybe I don't have a problem. I just want to make this evolution of the digital journey of Mexico, you know, since we are not, I mean, not all the people in Mexico have this access for the information or for this digital transformation.
Right.
I really want to write about it. I'm not sure if that's a problem or how can I write all this journey until today, where we are using AI and people like me that have digital content and things like that. We are creators and things like that. Yes. But for all the people that are not as involved as we are, right? To right. have this evolution.
Right.
That's my idea.
So you're talking about like the average everyday Mexican, you know, or maybe somebody who's working a job in a store, or, you know, maybe they're working at a government agency, or, you know, maybe they don't have access to all this technology. We're talking about the technology gap, right?
Right. Right.
Give me a little more detail, and we can use. Let's see if we can use ChatGPT to come up with more ideas. So, can you give me a little bit more detail about the idea for your book?
Yeah, for example, from the year 2000 and for those years, like from this millennial, no, like from 2000 to 2010, that all these Google, all the providers, or all the internet that started to be faster and to get everywhere, and the rise of the technology in Mexico, for example, how was it that time, and now how it is right now? I don't know. I have a lot of ideas.
Right. Yeah.
Something like that. I'm not sure if it's working.
And then talking about how there's still a percentage of people that don't have access to technology. Okay.
Yeah, and then like another chapter could be like all the social media and how we started to use it, and all the impact in the society, like in Mexican society.
Okay.
And then I don't know, the e-commerce with the pandemic time, and I don't know, it's like an evolution here in everywhere, but especially in Mexico, like we made that jump into technology after the or during the pandemic.
Right.
Right.
Right. But there is a
Yeah, something like that.
There's a digital gap between those who have the financial, so to have access to this technology, and those who don't have access. Oops. To this technology. Please give me 10 to 20 possible problems or barriers preventing them or of the population from enjoying the benefits of please give me 20 pause. And okay, let's see what chat gives me.
Yeah.
Okay, the digital divide in Latin America, including Mexico, is a multifaceted issue impacted by, and I've got to think this is very similar for India and South Asia as well. Okay, so high levels of income disparity, high cost of connectivity, limited digital literacy, educational disparities, language barriers, regulatory policy. Right. So, wow. So I'll actually I'll send this to you, and I'll send this to you when this is finished, so you can have access to this.
Thanks. Wow.
So these are 20 possible these are 20 problems, and this is what's great about ChatGPT. It's great at brainstorming, right?
Right.
First of all, I wanted to make sure that I understood what you were saying. Does this kind of answer these sort of existential questions you had about your concept?
Yeah, because for me, it's difficult to identify how can I turn this, because these are real problems that we are facing here in Mexico. all
Mhm.
all these things that are actually getting listed here
Yeah.
are in my head. Like, we are so a population that it's so despair, and we have access because, well, I'm prepared, right? I have a career, I have a PhD, I have things like that, right? But the rest of the society here, it's like a huge a huge percentage of the population here in Mexico that have not access of on all of this. And for me, it's something worth to publish, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So I think this is a great start for trying to identify the problems that you want to resolve in your book, right? So the digital divide, we can come up with, and in fact, let me get back to the outline for this presentation. So first of all, we were brainstorming about the concept and we came up with really a lot of good ideas. I think what we could do is we can kind of get right into the outline of the book, right? And so I wanted to ask you, Irma,
Yeah.
out of all these questions, out of all these problems, income inequality, rural urban divide, lack of infrastructure, high cost of connectivity, you know, monopolies or oligopolies in telecommunications. I can think of Carlos Slim and, Telcel or whatever, uh, all this kind of stuff. Lack of relevant content, I don't think so, but that's just my opinion. Digital divide, I think that's a real case, because Mexico has it's a machista culture. Um,
Yeah.
age-related disability disparities, political. Which one of these is the most important problem in your opinion?
Probably um well, we have many thinking right now, political instability, but that's another issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, number 4, high cost of connectivity,
Mm-hmm.
um, limited digital literacy, educational disparities, language barriers. I mean, the first ones are really important here in Mexico.
Well, the language barriers, I think about it, this talks about it as in English, but it could be Spanish, and then you have all the indigenous languages in Mexico as
Yeah.
well, in
All
Chiapas
the
and
communities, right?
right.
Yeah, exactly. That are far, far away from big cities, and they are
Mhm.
forgotten. I mean, the time it's still there. It's like they are in them. I
Yes.
don't know, in
Okay.
another area. Mhm.
Let's get into coming up with an outline, chat. My book. Who is the audience for your book? Who did you want to write your book for?
I was thinking people who's starting using technology. It's starting to use AI, or people that wants to understand all this evolution, because for some we are in this AI time, but for others are still beginning to use even
Technology?
social media, yeah, technology, social
Mhm.
media. I mean, for for some reason, the age gap, right? It's
Mhm.
getting a lot of people out of technology.
Mhm. Yeah.
Maybe for those, is this book could be interesting.
Okay. Is like the book I'm writing. So maybe older people or no?
Mm, not necessarily. I mean,
Starting to explore. I have identified income inequality, uh, a high cost of
I'm sorry, I'm just thinking loud. It's just that many people that are even in high school, or I mean, they have the access to social media, but not necessarily they have the tools, to understand technology.
Yeah, I think you're right, because actually my wife works as a teacher at a SEBA in Mexico, which is a school for people who have left middle school.
Okay.
And so it's sort of like a remedial education for them, and they have difficulty.
Exactly.
Mhm. Please give me chapter by chapter outline based on the target reader and based on these problems preventing that contributes to the digital divide using a problem solution format.
Okay.
Okay. Right. So it'll give you some good, give you a good start, but you might want to adjust this, right? So
Yeah.
you see navigation. So this chapter outline, Irma, looks like it is focused on policy makers instead of the people that you mentioned, right? So
Right.
the people you mentioned are the people just starting to get into technology, right? But this is not an outline for them. This is an outline for maybe politicians or business leaders, right? So
Exactly.
let's get ChatGPT to readjust this. Chat, thanks. No, I'm not going to say thanks. That's not chat is not.
That's very polite, but
Yes, you provided is aimed at policy makers. Please adjust the outline so that it is more of a guide, how to guide for people that are new to technology. Getting connected on a budget. So you see how powerful it could be, right? And
right.
the thing is this, you don't want to rely 100% on ChatGPT, because what you want to do is you want to use this as a way to trigger your thoughts, okay? So this is a way of como disparando tus pensamientos, no? Like this is a way to get you start thinking about it, and it's a great way because I think one of the worst things that can happen is you open a Word document or a Google Doc, and it's a blank page, and it's staring you at the face, and you sit there for 30 minutes trying to figure out where to start. Okay. And the beautiful thing about, generative AI is that it can help you get started, right? And it can give you ideas, right?
Right.
So see, I think this is a great way of doing this, right? Now, the thing is, I was just thinking about your target market for the book, people who are just starting to get into technology. I think a lot of those people are not readers, if I'm honest with you, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
one of the things to think about is think about, okay, maybe I'll write the book, but maybe I'll also turn the book into an audiobook, right? Or maybe I could turn my book into a series of videos, right? So I talk about in one of my previous webinars, I talk about the 4D book, 4D, dimensions. So there's 3D, so the third dimension. There's that we live in a world of 3D, and then 4D is like the dimension of time and space, right? But I apply it to books, right? So books can come in 4 different formats. Physical book that you buy, like I don't know, this is not a book, this is a notebook, but there's a physical book, and then there is a digital book or an ebook. So you have Kindle, that's a digital book. That's the other dimension of a book. Then you have an audio book, that's the third dimension of a book, right? Each one of those types of books fulfill a different part of your brain, right? So there's the physical book, people like to feel things and read things. The digital book, it's exclusively for readers, the ebook, the Kindle book. Audio book, it's for people who prefer to listen. And then there is the fourth dimension of a book, which I'm inventing a new category called the 4D book. And the fourth dimension is the audiovisual book, right? The book as a course, or the book as videos, right? So this could be a great start, Irma, for you. You write a book, but then you could turn it into an audio book, and then you could turn it into like a audiovisual book, a series of videos. Each chapter is its own video, right? And that's a perfect way of helping people who are, can't afford technology, are not literate when it comes to technology. It's a great way to get them started. So look, we have a great chapter outline, right? That then you can go in and maybe you could just take this chapter outline as is, right? Or maybe you adjust it, you copy this and you put it in a Word document. And then because you have a PhD and you're experienced working with people, maybe you say, I don't know about this one. Maybe I need to change it. Or, oh, there's some things that ChatGPT didn't think about. Let me add those, and you adjust it. But this is a great way of getting you started, because it basically, ChatGPT or AI in general is a great thing for us, because it takes away all of our excuses, right? So, and I think one of the biggest things for not writing a book is they'll have the excuses, well, I've never written before, or I don't know, I don't have enough time. If you just get started with this, brainstorming the ideas, the problems, here, go back to the problems, brainstorming the problems, and then coming up with an initial outline. This is a great way of getting you mentally started, right? Because most of us don't have any time. Most of us are working, 40, 50 hours a week, maybe even 60 hours. Maybe we have different jobs and we don't get started on this. And this is a great way of doing this. Okay. So any questions on this for now, based on what I've just showed you? Irma, Afzal, or anything?
Not from my side, but it's absolutely clear.
Okay, great. Right. So an outline, right? And the other thing is too, I like if you know your topic, like Irma, I think that you know your topic, but maybe you didn't know how to organize it. And ChatGPT is a great start. But if you know your target, your topic inside and out, if you teach about your topic in a classroom, or if you give conferences and you write blogs about it, and you write about it on social media, you already know exactly what you want to do, then I would just do the outline by yourself, right? And, outlining is, you can use mind mapping tools, or you can use all kinds of things. Now, I think the next step is recording, right? So let me get into this part right here. And this is an image that I stole from Dennis Yu, who basically talks about the content factory, but I'm just going to focus on 2 parts of this. So there's long form audio content, so a podcast, webinars, etc. And then there's long form content, a book, right? So we're going straight from here to there, right? And then all the content you can do over here as well. But what I did with my client, with his name is Eduardo Ortiz. What I did with him is I recorded him. He already had an idea for a book, so that was great. He contacted me. I said, listen, I think you should write a book if you want to enter the US market, blah, blah, blah. He said, well, that's great because I already have an idea for a book, Fernando. And I said, really? That's great. So we eliminated the first part of it, which is coming up with the problem and the outline. He already had the idea for the book. He already had the outline. All we had to do was record him, right? So I used Zoom. We scheduled 10 different meetings. And in each one of those Zoom meetings, we recorded him basically speaking each chapter. So each recording session was a chapter, right? And so he knew all about, the problems with inventory management. Then he talked about the benefits of using AI for inventory management. Then he talked about computer vision, which is a new technology that both Google and Amazon have come up with. Then we talked about problems with artificial intelligence, and we talked about this and that and the other. So we had about 10 hours of audio files, right? And let me show you. So what I did was I used a program called Descript. There are other programs you can use, but I like Descript because it's my favorite. And let me show you Descript right now. And Descript is a tool that allows you to take your audio and turn it into text. So it automatically does the transcript of your audio using AI, okay? And my Descript went onto the other screen. I have another screen over here. Let me just bring it over as soon as it opens up fully.
Sorry, is this a free app or you have to pay something?
This is free up to a point. I pay for this, but there are other. I'm going to show you a trick in a minute. Okay. I'm going to show you a trick that you can get transcriptions for free. Okay. And it's actually brilliant. It's like, thank God for technology. And this thing is taking a long time to open up. But what I use Descript for is I have the audio file that I recorded using Zoom, and then I upload it to Descript. And then Descript will extract the audio and turn it into text. And it does it in Spanish, English, Russian, Portuguese, French, Hindi, Urdu, all the different languages. Okay, here we go. Okay. So this was an interview I did with Ann Handley. Ann Handley, she's a kind of a famous marketing person in the United States. And she gives lots of speeches about marketing, and she's written 2 books and all that stuff. And so I interviewed her. She was very gracious to interview me. Let me show you how I use Descript. Okay, so what you do is you say, okay, here's a new video project or audio project. And then I use audio project, right? And once I start the new audio project, then I will import the audio. All right, so let's call it test audio. And we're going to add a file. Okay, here we go. And basically what it does is it's taking too long. Unfortunately, my computer is okay. Yeah, and it's going to be in English, and it says transcribe, but you can choose Spanish as well, okay? And basically it just does its work, right? But let me show you a trick that I discovered the other day from a friend of mine. Okay. If you have a YouTube video, so like if you want to if you record a video, okay. If you record a video, you can upload it to YouTube. And then you can enter the URL or the address of the YouTube video and get an automatic transcript. So I'm just going to add this one over here. I already had the video. Actually, let's use a new one, okay? So and I know it's getting late. You can stay with me. I'm going to continue teaching this. And so even if you have to leave, you'll have a recorded version, okay? Okay, so let me see here. Afzal, can you think of a video that you would like to transcribe that's maybe on YouTube?
We must go with the brand new remote jobs. I saw something remote customer service rep.
Did you see it here?
Yes, on the first page. I think that's the one. Yeah, hiring remote customer service rep. Probably there's some
Oh,
content in
that's
there.
oh, this is an advertisement.
Oh,
It's not
that's
even
an ad, not a video. Okay.
video, yeah. Let me see. Well, let's see how we can
Or maybe you can find something. Or for maybe we can add like managing a team working remotely, anything like that. It would be easier.
okay, let's do that. Okay, let's use this one. Let's just take the URL from here. There you go.
Wow.
So you have the text.
I chose
Mhm.
or
Okay, so there's the text. And then you can actually there's the text. And then you could copy the entire transcript. Right now, let me see. How many words is this? It's got to be a lot of words. There's a problem with ChatGPT in that it has a limit to the amount of words it can sometimes ingest. So that's why sometimes I like to use Claude. Okay. Claude allows you to ingest more text. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so let me say this to Claude. Claude, organize this, structure this. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. Claude, give me an outline for an ebook based on the following video transcripts. So I'm going to paste the transcript that we already got. So this is another way of getting an outline. Okay, great. So we have an outline based on the transcript. Okay. Now, let's use this outline. I'm gonna paste it into ChatGPT. This is still working, so let's paste it into ChatGPT. Let's start a new ChatGPT chat. Chat. I'm writing a book about managing a remote customer service team. Please write the first section of the book based on the following section outline and based on the video transcript I will paste below. Here's the outline for the first section of the book. So what I'm going to do is just remove all the rest of the stuff. And then here, the transcript, the video. I'm going to try and see if it'll give me the whole, if it can ingest the whole transcript. I think it will because it's pretty, here, let's copy the transcript. Okay, so let me show you what I did again. Chat, I'm writing an ebook about managing remote customer service teams. Please write the first section of the book based on the following section outline and based on the video trend. Here's the outline of the first section of the book. To do that, to make a space and not send it to ChatGPT, I use Shift Return or Shift Enter. Okay. Oh, here, hold on a second. Let me see. Please use very direct voice. Eliminate unnecessary words. Unnecessary words. And be very concise with your language. Use simpler words instead of complicated words. Okay, now let's see what it does. So this is just an ebook. This is a short book, right? This is obviously going to be a lot different when it comes to a like a full book, and I'll show you what I did with my client. Here, let's chat. Right, the next section of the ebook based on this section outline. Okay. This is just an example of like how you're getting ChatGPT to use your outline. What I would do if I were in Irma, what I would do if I were in your shoes is I would record myself. Do you like writing? I mean, if you like writing, then I would write it and then get ChatGPT to edit it. But if you want to speak the book, then I would just get a microphone and maybe record myself with my phone or on my own private Zoom call, and then record each one of the chapters of the outline that we created with the digital divide. Now, let me get the last part.
I don't think I'm good at writing. Good on writing.
Okay. And the great thing is ChatGPT speaks perfect Spanish. You probably already know this. You probably use ChatGPT all the time.
Yeah, I use it all the time.
Right.
But I even have how do you say it? A copywriting lessons and things like that. But it's not easy for me.
Copywriting less. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then copywriting is different from book writing. Okay.
Yeah.
So you see what we're doing over here is we're feeding the ebook. This is a small book outline section by section, right? And that way it's giving us a lot more detail on the book, on the ebook.
I'm sorry, Fernando. In all this using of AI to write a book, you have to mention that you used AI at the end.
Yeah, you might have to. In fact, that was one of the things that we discussed yesterday in my talk at the meetup. The thing that I'm doing with my clients is that I'm editing it myself and changing the language a lot. Because if you notice something about ChatGPT is that the language it uses is not very natural, right? It's not very natural. So you've really got to edit it a lot, and you've got to make it look more human. Sound as human as possible, because it's easy to detect AI just by looking at AI written stuff. I can tell it's written by AI.
Yeah, me too. All the time. I'm like, oh, this was ChatGPT or another, but yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's not natural. Yeah.
So this is what I'm doing with the book. Now I'll show you what I did with my client with chapter 3 of his book. So it's continuing to go, and it refers back to the original transcript that we took from the YouTube transcripts.com. But the good thing is that in this case, ChatGPT is not inventing this from its own database. It's using the source of the video as a source for the material, right? So, obviously I showed you how to use YouTube transcripts.com to get a transcript from a random video we just found on YouTube. I would highly encourage you to use your own knowledge, your own recording, to get your thoughts into audio form, and then to use, YouTube transcript.com or Descript. Let me see how Descript is doing. Okay, look, this is what Descript did, right? So this what Descript did was that it took a transcript of the audio that I uploaded to it. And I think the audio was a conversation with a client of mine. Okay. And then you can take this transcript and also copy it and paste it into ChatGPT. Okay. And then finally, let's get the conclusion. Based on the following conclusion outline. Okay. So we got all this from the original transcript from that video. I'll show you the video again. How to lead a remote team successfully in 4 ways. Right, we copied the transcript and we. But yeah, I mean, basically you have to go in, Irma and Afsal, etc. You have to go in and edit the text by yourself. Now, if you don't want to even edit it yourself, the great thing is that there's a whole category of people called copy editors. And when I wrote my first book in 2017. And in 2017, we didn't have AI to help us write, right? So I wrote it all by hand. But even writing it by hand, I still had to send it to an editor, right? So I highly recommend that if you write a book, you send it to a copy editor, right? So in Mexico, there's a lot. There's hundreds, maybe thousands of copy editors in the United States and India and different parts of the world. There's thousands of copy editors, and they can charge anywhere between $500 and $800, $900, maybe even cheaper, depending on if you go to, different parts of the world to hire a copy editor. And they could probably take that that typical language that ChatGPT creates. They could change it so that it looks very human. And the good thing is the content, the actual information is not from ChatGPT. The information is from you. So let me show you what I did with my client's book. Okay. And I'll show you an example of chapter 3 of what we did. Okay. Oh, chapter 2. Here's chapter 2. Oh, and there's chapter 3. Okay. So chapter 2. So this is back in, okay. So the book that I'm helping my client write is called Revolutionizing Retail Inventory Management with AI, a strategic guide to enhance efficiency and profitability. Okay, so chat. For my book of this title, you will write chapter 2 for me based on a transcript I did with the author of the book. I will post the transcript of chapter 2 below. So I pasted the transcript of chapter 2. And then I think I struggled a little bit. Okay, thank you. So then I gave chat a chapter outline. So what I did was we came up with an outline for the book, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. This was the outline for chapter 2, okay? What do you notice about this outline? Okay, let me tell you what I noticed back when I did this. This is a very small outline for one chapter, right? So this is, each chapter is like a 4,000 page article, 4,000 word article, I'm sorry. Each chapter is like a 4,000 word article. So each chapter has to have its own detailed outline, okay? So what I did was, see, this is the initial outline that the client gave me for chapter 2. What I did was I pasted the transcript of our conversation for chapter 2. And then I said, okay, here's the original outline, chat. Based on the transcript I just pasted, please give me an enhanced outline. So what ChatGPT did was it analyzed, I think the transcript was about 7,000 words or 8,000 words. It analyzed the transcript and it gave me an enhanced outline, right? So here's the detailed outline for chapter 2. right? So as you see, this is a very detailed outline of chapter 2. All this just for chapter 2. And that's the way you got to do each chapter, especially if you want to write like a book that's about 200 pages, maybe 150 pages. Each chapter has to have its own outline, right? If you haven't gotten it already, right? I would say outline this before you even do your audio, right? But he didn't have an outline for each chapter that was this detailed. So we had to get a detailed outline, right? So then I said, chat, I'm going to ask you to write the introduction of chapter 2 based on the previous transcript I gave you. Please tell me yes or no if you still have the transcript in your memory banks. Okay. So it says, no, I don't have it in my memory. Sometimes ChatGPT can become a little frustrating. So I gave it the transcript again, very frustrating. And then I said, okay, here is the introduction to chapter 2. Write text for this introduction. So all I wanted ChatGPT to do was to write the introduction for chapter 2. Right? Now, write section 1 of chapter 2. So I gave it the outline for section 1, and it wrote all the text for section 1. Right? Now, chat, here's the following section of the chapter 2. Chapter 2, anyway, I got a little frustrated with ChatGPT, but basically, I think it's better if I go to chapter 3 because that's a little bit more organized. I had to go in and kind of rewrite it, but I basically did the same thing over here. I said, chat, here's the transcript for chapter 3. Now, what I want you to do is enhance this outline. Give me a detailed outline for chapter 3, and it gave me a detailed outline for chapter 3. Okay, based on the transcript and the following section of the outline. So then what I did was I just took the first section of the outline. So I took this section right here, only that section. And I said, and I gave it back to ChatGPT. So I gave it back and I said, write the text for this section. And it gave me very little text. So I said, chat, let's do this again. Make sure the section is at least 500 words. Write this section now. So then it did a much better idea, a much better job. Okay. So this is the first section of chapter 3. Now write the next section of chapter 3. And I gave ChatGPT the next section of chapter 3 about AWS Panorama, which is a thing called computer vision. So then it gave me the text. And so I wanted to make sure that ChatGPT was doing a good job. And I asked my client to read the chapter 3 for me. And he said it was perfect. He said it was exactly what he said. Okay. And so I kept on going to each section of chapter 3, feeding it one by one, because the thing is with ChatGPT, it's not going to just write a 4,000 word chapter for you in one go. You need to break it up into little pieces, right? And each one of the little pieces is based on the original audio and the transcript of that audio that you did when you recorded yourself, or when your client, when your friend recorded you, or your wife or husband, or your book ghostwriter recorded you, right?
Right.
So, and that's how I came up with the book. What I also did was, when you write a book, you have to have third-party sources, right? So, Zara, are you familiar with the store Zara?
I am very well familiar with it. But
Yes. Okay, great. Zara is a Spanish retail chain, and they're very good at managing their inventory. They're one of the most efficient and technologically savvy retail outlets in the world. And they use They use AI in their inventory management. Okay. So what I said, okay, we have the first draft of the book. We have all the chapters written, and I wrote all the chapters based on the interviews I did and based on this process I'm showing you right now. But the thing is, it was all coming from the head of my client, all coming from Eduardo's head. So what we had to do was we had to say, okay, listen, people are not going to trust your book, what you say, based on just what you say. We have to have examples from the outside world. So I Googled an article and I found a case study about Zara. And I said, okay, chat, write a magazine style, narrative driven summary of this case study about Zara. So I pasted the article. Okay. And then Zara gave me this. So it basically wrote a magazine style, narrative driven section of it's basically a rewrite of the article. And what I did, I said, create a proper citation so I can cite this article in my content. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm using this to add into the appendix of the book at the very back of the book so that it could be a legitimate book, right? Because when you write a book, you have to have sources and you have to cite the sources so you're not being accused of copyright infringement for using somebody else's material, right? And the thing is, it's beautiful because ChatGPT can help you with that as well. Okay. And then I'll show you the end results.
For here, I have one question. So as you said, if we copy something without giving people credit, you might get striked for a copyright. The same way, if you use a video and get the transcript out of it, then you utilize that transcript for ChatGPT. Do you also need to give some kind of credit for that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you would absolutely have to credit it. Yeah, so I think that's important because I mean I don't think I know it's important because it basically, it can help you from getting, if for some reason they find that you have used material from a video and you didn't cite it, you could get sued. They could make you take your book down, they could talk to Amazon, etc. So let me see. There we go. Okay, here we go. So the end result is the book, right? So here's the introduction. I did a new introduction. And now the next step is basically formatting this for Kindle and uploading it. Okay, so I have to probably do some editing to change this because this is kind of like, I immediately noticed that this is the type of thing that's typical of ChatGPT. Imagine a retail landscape. You've seen this before, Irma, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, and the thing about it is this: when you're writing a book and you're focused on the book, what you need to do is when you finish it, you got to put it aside and don't even look at it for 1 week or 2 weeks.
Exactly.
You come back 2 weeks later, and then you can see very obviously the problems that you have in the book. And then that way you can edit it and make it look better, right? So I immediately noticed it says, imagine a retail. I mean, this sounds very much like ChatGPT. I'm going to change it. Okay. But basically, this is the bottom line. So if you do Shift Command C, if you're on a Mac, and I think it's Shift Controls C, I don't know. But this
Control F, that's for find.
Say that again.
Control F for find.
Control F. Right. Well, actually, what about the word count in Google?
Word count.
Yeah.
It's Control Shift G on Windows.
Control Shift G. Okay. Control Shift C, right?
G for
Okay.
Georgia.
Okay, got it. And in Mac, it's Shift Command C. And I don't know about on the Spanish keyboard, but basically, it can show what your word count is for each chapter. So what I'm seeing is, I have some pretty robust chapters over here. All right. So chapter 1, in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, while the world was grappling with unprecedented challenges, there was one household item that mysteriously vanished from grocery store shelves: toilet paper. Okay. And this was an article that I took, and I'm pretty sure I cited it. Yeah, I cited it in the back. Okay. So I went chapter by chapter, and each one of these is at least, between 2,000 and 4,000 words. So my next step is I have to edit it again, and then I have to send it off to a human editor. And then I have to use the artwork that my designer came up with, and I'll show you what my designer has done. Let me see.
Fernando, when you said that you did the formatting to Kindle, is that something you know how to do it, or is
Yeah, there are designers who do it in InDesign, and there are also programs that do it for you. So we use a program. Okay, here's a couple of examples. So there's and this is a mock-up of the design for my client's book. But yeah, there are some programs where you could do that. Let me see here.
that was really nice, the design.
Oh, you like that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's another one. So this is
Yeah.
one. Yeah. Yeah. So right now I'm drawing a blank when it comes to the program that we're using. My head is full of so many different things right now. I can't even.
Don't worry.
Okay, hold on a second. I think Pressbooks. Pressbooks is one of them.
Ah, okay. Oh, thank you. Let's just have so many doubts about that.
Yeah. So Pressbooks is one of those. So this is what I did. This is what I used for my first book. I basically self-published, and this is basically for self-publishing. So you can use Pressbooks, and there are several other ones that basically, you can turn your raw manuscript into a .mobi file or a PDF file, right? Let me see. You can start it for free, and then when you want to get the files, you have to pay, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So free trial, create, publish, and share your digital book. Okay. So that's one of the ones, right? There's another one that we started to use, and I forget what it's called.
Don't worry.
I can send it to you later. So let me see if there is anything. I know I've gone way over the time limit. Okay. Basically, that's it.
Excellent. Oh,
Yeah. So, and I'm actually publishing my own book, my second book. It's called Startup Book, which should be made available later this month or at the beginning. And I'm hoping that you can be one of the first buyers of the book. I'm going to put it for sale either the last week of February or the first week of March, and I'm going to sell it for $0. You think you could afford that?
yeah, of course.
Okay, I'm going to be making it available as a Kindle book, and I would really love to count on you as one of some of the first buyers of the book. The more people I could get to book, the more people I could get to buy the book, even if it's $0. The more people I can get to buy the book on the first day when I put it for sale, the better chance I have of becoming at least a bestseller on Amazon, like a bestseller within a certain category. So,
Yeah, count on me. Congratulations. I can wait to
Okay.
see it.
okay, great. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Any
Same
questions
from my
before we-
side as well, Fur. And do you have a kind of like a community where you could add all of us, and probably you can trigger note before that goes live on Kindle? So probably that acts as a reminder for everybody who must have forgotten.
Well, I mean, you all are now subscribed to my mailing list, but it may be a community. I was actually thinking about either a community on Facebook or a WhatsApp community. So I don't know
Yeah.
what you all prefer. If you prefer WhatsApp or Facebook community or something like that.
I'm good, by the way.
Okay,
Yeah,
got
me
it.
So
too.
WhatsApp works better these days.
Yeah, WhatsApp is very popular. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you all both the results of that exercise I did in ChatGPT with you right now. I'll actually send you the link to it. I think you could send the link to it as well as copy the actual text that comes from it. Okay. And send it to you all. I have your individual addresses. So, okay, great. Thank you very much.
Great session first. Thank you very much. And I
Have a
wish you all
great-
the best for the new book.
Thank you. Have a great rest of your day, Irma and Afsal. I think it's already Thursday for you, right?
Yes. No, it's Friday. Friday, 1 a.m.
Oh yeah, it's Friday. Yes, exactly. It's Friday, 1 a.m.
Oh, it's really late. Okay.
Yes, because he's in India right now.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. Ciao, ciao. Bye-bye.
Thanks
Take
a
care.
lot.